Welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with craft beer on the side and then maybe, like a little flask of whiskey you keep tucked away for courage when you're podcasting.
That's always good.
But that's secret, so shh, don't tell anybody. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and today we're going to be meeting Chapter 17 for the very first time.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Of Temple of the Winds. That's the book that we're reading.
Oh, it's a chapter now. So
Yeah.
it's a chapter person chapter?
You can meet like an object for the first time. It doesn't have to be like
I suppose that's true.
a person. You can meet the ocean, I guess, or I met this couch earlier and I liked it.
We hung out for like a while.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Well, with that, I think it is time to jump right into this chapter.
Feet first.
Yes, it's an exciting one. So, a breathless, beaming Burdine lurched to a halt as Kaylin watched Nadine storm down the hall.
Ha!
She's excited that Richard has work for her to do. Kaylin marches down the hall to Richard, spooking a knot of guards that he was talking to. She means business right now.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Ooh, she's coming. Hey, we'll talk to you later." She has just one question for him. Why did you ever dance with that whore? Kaylin is pissed.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we last left her, she had just heard the whole story from Nadine about what happened with Richard way back when. And she's heated.
It's kind of funny because, she heard the story and obviously she's gonna hate the woman who, wanted to be with Richard in the first place and hurt his feelings, all of that. But I think she's more mad because the two of them got into a tiff at the end. And that was directly caused by Kaylin insulting the woman, flat out being like, "You're fucking stupid." And so then the woman, came back at her with really all that she had, which was really not a whole lot of anything. And so Kaylin's, mad now, because they were fighting.
You caused the fight. What the fuck?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, Richard's like, okay, first, language, Kaylin. Come on. Keep it appropriate. Second, how'd you get her to tell you? Kaylin's like, I tricked her.
I pulled
Richard's
the old
very proud.
trick, the old, "You already told me everything," or "I already know everything" trick.
It's magic.
Yeah.
She used magic against her.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard's proud of the fact that he's a bad influence on Kaylin. You've been watching me, huh?
She actually used, Wizard's first rule.
Wizard's first rule, yeah.
Because, she believed it because she was afraid it was true that she already knew. So, yeah.
Well, you're talking about Nadine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, if Kaylin just believed,
No.
it would all work out.
No, I was talking about
I got
the other
you.
one.
Nadine.
The other bitch.
The other one.
Yeah.
Of that whore.
Mm-hmm. That would be the one.
That's the one. Well, Kaylin says she's sorry for asking Nadine to stay. She didn't know everything involved at first when this whole situation started, and now it's a whole thing. So.
Well, maybe you could have just asked me before you invited her.
Yeah. Also that.
If she was an ex in any capacity, obviously some bad shit went down. So, Kaylin sorry, I didn't know the extent. Obviously there was bad blood there, or we would still be dating.
Yeah. Something didn't work out.
Yeah.
I just... Fucking Nadine. Anyways, yeah. I'm sorry. Kaylin does say that if she ever sees Shota again, she'll fucking strangle her. Mm-hmm. And I believe her. I do. Richard suggests having Nadine guarded, but Kaylin doesn't think it'll be necessary. Vultures will circle as long as they think there are bones to pick. She's like, Nadine's not going anywhere. As long as you're here, she's going to try and be somewhere around here.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Maybe we could have guards that we tell, or like a Mord Sith stick close to her and be like, hey, y'all know that we don't, like, I'm with Kaylin, so if she starts doing anything inappropriate, flash that a deal, you know?
Yeah, if she starts looking shady, get her back in line.
She starts popping them titties out, you gotta, no. No.
No.
Put them back.
Oh, that's so fucking funny. Okay. Richard says that he actually feels a bit sorry for her. While she does have some good in her, she'll never get to experience love.
Wow, that's like a pretty bold statement about her. Like,
yeah, look, she's a good person. She is just totally unlovable. So
yeah, like she's never gonna go home and find anybody. Wow, okay.
Kaylin asks how he could have possibly forgiven Michael for his part in all this, and he's like, "Dude, he's my brother. I would have forgiven him for anything he did to me, but not to others. They don't have family status, so fuck them. Someday, I'm going to stand before the good spirits, and I don't want to give them a reason why I was no better than Michael."
Yeah. And this is also just one more example. Like, when Michael treated Kaylin that way when he first met her, that's just another, like, example of him being like, oh, yeah, this is your woman. Watch me touch her. Ugh.
It makes that whole thing between Richard and Michael and Kaylin just that much more vivid as to what was probably going through Richard's head while that was going on.
Yeah, and how fucked up it was that Michael was doing that to him in front of everybody after everything.
I'm honestly surprised Richard didn't punch him square in the fucking dick for that.
Seriously.
Like, right then.
That was a really low blow.
He grabs Kaylin and just wham! Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck you.
Yeah, sorry. A little PTSD, I had a flashback.
It just happened. I don't know.
I couldn't handle it.
Oh. Well, now Kaylin understands a little bit better why Richard wanted her to go with him to meet Drefan for the first time. The spirits have tested Richard with Michael, right?
Yeah.
Literally pushed him to the edge. But what are the odds that he could have two brothers that fucking evil?
Oh my God, I hated this whole part where they were talking. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, that's bad.
Just tempting fate there.
Ugh.
Now she says, look, he's a bit arrogant, but he's a healer, so he can't be all bad, right? Well,
I don't know. We haven't met him very much, but both of your dads were a dick. So, like,
yeah, that's true.
He was a really bad dude. So.
Plus, Richard reminds her that Nadine is a healer too, and you're not exactly a huge fan of hers right now. So that just being a healer doesn't necessarily make you a good person.
Right.
You don't get that status just from that title.
Yeah, like, I mean, that happens in society now. Like, people will be like, oh, well, they're a police officer or they're a doctor or whatever, right. So they must be a good person. And then you're like, oh, well, they're getting arrested for child porn, so maybe not.
Yeah, maybe no.
Whatever, XYZ. I just...
pick something.
Yeah, just because you do a job doesn't necessarily make that your... I don't know. You know where I'm going.
You're not your job, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I got bored.
You can be a fireman and a real piece of shit, too.
Yes.
It's just people, unfortunately.
Yes.
But Kaylin is like, no, she is not a fucking healer like this dude. You should have seen it. He did some magical shit. He groped her titties a little bit, and then he grabbed her by the pussy. I don't know. Maybe he had to be there. It sounds kind of bad now that I say it out loud.
There was like a weird laser light smoke show thing that he did. I don't know. I didn't really understand, but it was cool.
She goes on to say that his skill borders on magic, right? Which is kind of like maybe he is a gifted guy, which means the whole time that he was down there helping Kara, as relieved as we were to have him helping Kara, we really don't know shit about him, and he still could be a threat.
Yeah. It's almost like his skill borders on real medicine. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
In our world, we'd be like, yeah, it's holistic. It borders. Like, maybe it could be real. Are you... Okay.
He is totally attacking your microphone stand.
Like, you need to leave me alone. You're distracting me a lot, Kat. What are you doing?
It's kind of like what you're saying. I'll let you deal with him a second, but it's kind of like what you're saying. The medicine that we have today is so good, it's almost as if it's magic.
Yes.
And he's at that level with them then.
He's not quite magic level. He's like almost there. Stop it. Stop it.
He's like, no. I'm going to chew on this damn thing. I don't care what you're doing.
He's just far enough that I can't quite actually get to him.
You can't get him off the mic stand. Puck, what are you doing?
Stop it. Get off of there. Ah. Ha.
I don't want to. Damn it.
Like, I don't know. Chiropractors, I guess, maybe, because they can actually do some shit. But some people say that it's not, like, real...
Not like actual medicine.
Yes.
It's health. It's, like, not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, It's different. I don't know how.
And I've
never been to one.
I've never been to one either. I know some people swear by them. It's not quite, like, crystals or, like, ear candles.
No, they're
that
doing
type of
something
holistic
physical.
stuff that you're like, no, it's real, not real. Yeah. We got to the point. The cat distracted me a lot. Sorry. It was a real...
We got there.
Not succinct at all.
Well, Richard assures Kaylin that if Drefan has magic, he'll know it. So it's not going to be a mystery for very much longer.
He'll see it in his eyes or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Since Richard has the gift, he can tell if somebody else has the gift just by, like, looking at him.
Yeah. Like, you look old, kind of, in your eyes, so you have magic.
You look real wise.
Yeah. Real eyes, real eyes.
I read
magic
at 10th
eyes.
grade level. Oh, this guy's good. After leaving Kaylin's room with instructions for the guards, they find Kara still at her self-appointed post outside the actually on-duty ring of guards. Richard says he's going to meet the man that saved her and that she should come along. As a friend. As a friend. Not on duty right now. I'm not asking you to do a job-related thing.
Yeah. Which is good, because apparently she looks like shit.
Well, and he's drawing a line. I don't necessarily need to trust you for this, right? You're just coming along with me because I'm going to meet the guy that saved your life. It's not like I'm not trusting Kaylin with you right now. So it's fine if you can be here for this because it's important to you and Kaylin's safety is not reliant on you right now. So you can be here with us.
Yeah. But it's also a nice, like, hey, we're friends. We're cool. I love you.
And Kara
too.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I guess that's a question I had. Is it a burn? Or does Kara feel relief right now at being asked to do literally anything for Richard by Richard?
I would think she would feel relieved that he still sees her as a friend, despite having maybe lost some trust in the, workplace aspect. Like, my boss doesn't trust me very much anymore, but my friend is still my friend.
Okay, so it is a good thing. It's relief that she's feeling in that emotional moment.
Yeah, I would think.
Okay, I like that, because I was just like, I don't know if she just feels like shit because he's still drawing that line, or if she just feels relief because, Richard sees her.
Yeah. No,
I'm trying to work that in again.
Yeah, I think it's, we lost trust, but that doesn't mean we lost the friendship there. Like, we didn't get demoted back to nameless, faceless Mordsith number 2 or whatever. We are still good,
Yeah. Well, that's true. And, being close to Richard is something that's very important to Kara, and we know that.
Yeah.
So I like that still ties in with the way she's feeling about him and everything that's going on with those two right now. It's good.
I do think it's kind of funny, though, because Richard, changed his mind about all of them. Like, he changed his whole way that he was dealing with the Mordsith from the time he went into Kaylin's room and then came out.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a shock to him.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of, conversation there between them two about how he was treating the Lord Sith, but he has changed his tact when he comes out, as opposed to because he went in, he was like, no, you guys aren't past the guards, and he comes out and he's like, we're all good.
We can forget about that thing I said earlier.
Never mind, we're fine.
So he tells Egan that they're allowed to pass the ring of guards now. He should get Reyna and Ulick to come along too. And with a rare smile, Egan is like, right behind you, Lord Rawl. Yeah. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He wants blood. Or honor. Yeah, that one.
We have to go figure out where the fuck Ulick and Egan ran off to or Ulick and Reyna, because we sent them around the building to go get in the back door somehow, so yeah, we'll be there.
They're still running around the outside of the Confessor's Palace.
Trying to climb
the window. It was right here,
window.
I thought. Fuck. How long have we been gone?
Was it the third or fourth window from the left?
Shit, maybe this. You cover that hallway, I'll do this one. We'll circle around. And then they lose each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That was sad, Nate.
I'm sorry. I broke the podcast rule.
You did.
My phone went off. You know, I thought about that just before we hit record. I was like, I better turn that down. And then I didn't.
You better take a drink.
I should.
That's
what? I got it right over here. It's not quite time, but you know what? It's delicious.
Yeah, well, that's a penance that you must pay.
I'm sorry. So we find out that Drefan's room is located on the opposite side of the Confessor's Palace, which is a long fucking ways from where they are now. Richard wants him there because that way the guards could still keep an eye on him, and he can be as far away from Kaylin's room as possible.
I hope that Nadine is also all the way on the opposite side of the fucking palace. We don't ever really hear that.
You're right. I'm not sure about that.
But probably not, because Kaylin has to stay virginal and safe, and Richard's just a man, so she's probably right next door.
Well, he's not trusting anybody right now. It seems,
yeah.
He's on edge from everything else that has happened. He still doesn't have, full trust in his crew either.
Okay.
So he's just not putting nothing a chance.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Last quarter of the game, Jade. Can't hold anything back now.
Wow. We're not doing that.
No? Okay. All right. Well, it is kind of a feel-good moment for the reader. It felt good to me as they walk down the halls. Richard's got his crew back, right?
Yeah.
Kara, while still there's still a line drawn, but Kara is once again receiving her due as number one Mord Sith.
Number one bodyguard.
That's right. He's got everybody back. He's got, obviously Kaylin's with him, but Kara, Reyna, Berdine, Ulick, Egan, the whole the entourage.
Yeah, and nobody's mad at it. We're all together.
And it's
everything
all okay.
is going, we should just all preserve this moment in our minds. Even though we're a little beat up, we're all together and happy right now for the second. It might be a little stressful, but it's okay.
It's okay.
And we're all together.
People are afraid of Kara, as they, should be. They're giving her just a little bit extra room.
Yeah.
Because now she's good in with, the Lord Rawl.
Well, I think also she's wearing a red leather. She looks pretty rough, and she probably has a couple bumps and bruises, which you don't normally see
true.
On a Mord Sith. So that's probably terrifying to see a pissed off Mord Sith looking a little beat up.
Who's now back to some, not necessarily power, but
she's on her feet again.
Yeah.
So that's fucked.
So that's fucked. Just stay away from that one. Well, they come to a simple door surrounded by guards and stop. Richard checks his sword by letting it drop into the scabbard, making sure it's free. And as he does this, Kaylin tries to calm him by saying, look, I think he's more afraid of this than you. He's more afraid of you than you are of him.
Yeah.
Okay? You're like the fucking Lord Rawl, and he's not, and he came here to help you. Okay? So just take your deep breath. Everything will be fine. But Richard Richard is in a different headspace. Right? He goes, yeah, but he also showed up on the exact same day as Nadine and fucking Marlon. Marlon was a direct, assassin sent from Jagang, and Nadine is, Nadine. We're not even going into all that right now. And I don't fucking believe in coincidences. So this is very, very shady. It's sus, frankly.
And honestly, I don't disagree with him, and it's kind of funny that Kaylin went from being so suspicious of everybody to just Drefan helped, so that's cool, even though he's your half-brother and he just happened to show up on that same... it is a lot of a coincidence, and Kaylin's just like, no, it's cool, man, family reunion.
It's all good.
I vouch for this man I've never met, except once in a deep pit, groping my friend.
That's part of it, though, that... Yeah, groping. See, it was weird instantly. You trusted this guy once, and he did a weird thing. But, this does kind of go to show how they did trust Drefan, because he had an air of authority when he showed up, and he did help Kara. Nobody's arguing that, but they all let him very, very close without really knowing who he was.
Yeah, I could have walked into the palace and been like, I am a healer. And then I would have been in the pit with Mother Confessor and a convulsing Mord Sith. I could have killed the shit out of both of them.
In a weird way, it all has a lot to do with intent on harm, because Nadine showed up just looking for Richard, not really planning on harming Kaylin, just looking for Richard. And then Marlon showed up totally intent on fucking everybody over. And then here's Drefan. Now, who knows about Drefan? So far, he's been a nice guy, but considering that everything is a possible threat, they let him really close, really soon, and ultimately, who the fuck knows?
But I guess, he could have killed the shit out of Kaylin and Nadine and Kara all in that pit. So, I guess...
But he didn't.
Because he didn't. We're just gonna assume he's great.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
That's why.
All right.
Well, like I said, Richard does not believe in coincidences. So, as far as we're concerned, Drefan is sus. Kaylin recognizes the look of coiling death in his eyes. Ooh. Without another word, he throws open the door and enters. And here's where we see the unspoken rule about the doors. It's their house. They can open them when the fuck they want to. Everybody else knocks. Simple.
I just have to say, whenever somebody says the term, throwing a door open... In my head, I picture it going so badly because I picture the door slamming into the wall and then bouncing back in their face.
Back.
Yeah, as they're walking through all badass. And it's hilarious.
Hits them in the nose.
Yeah, it's like, didn't plan that well, did you? You should have been a little less, aggressive.
Behold, I am Richard. Ow, fuck. I'm going to go back and do that again. Just give me a second. Damn it. Someone have a towel.
Why didn't you grab the door?
All right, JD. Well, I think it is time for our beer break before we go any further.
Ooh,
because further is Richard meeting his half-brother, Drefan.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's cute.
So I'm going to need a beer before that.
Yeah.
Because beer is good.
I agree with that statement. Absolutely.
So today we've got passion fruit goza.
Ooh.
Goza, because we've discussed this on the show before and have decided that's how we're going to say it.
That's how we were told to say it by a person who works at a place that
There's
makes
no
it.
line, so it's not goze.
Yeah.
And it's not goose.
I'm just saying, somebody else told me. It's not on me.
Now, this is, like I said, passion fruit goza from Perrin Brewing Company. It's a tropical twist of ripe passion fruit with a distinct flavor of pink Hawaiian sea salt.
Can you taste the pink?
I can totally taste the pink.
Or the Hawaii?
I can taste the Hawaii. It tastes like burning.
There's not a lot of salt. It doesn't give you that, your mouth is, some of the other salty ones that we've had where you take a sip and your mouth is, wanting another sip because you're all salty.
Because it's so salty?
Yeah. You don't get that very much, and it's not as hard-hitting in the sour department.
It's not as sour, right? Not as tart. Still very good, though.
Yeah, I think it's...
That's the pink.
Yeah, that's the pink. I think it's a lot easier drinker than most sours and most salty beers. Although I really like a salty beer.
So are you saying what? That it's not as salty as you would like it to be?
I think they could go a little more on the salt and I would be fine.
You think you could go heavier? Okay.
Just just like a little, Salt Bay, just like a little...
Just a little more edge?
A little sprinkle.
I will say, yeah, for a sour, it's definitely quite tame. I like it.
Yeah.
I think I took to it right away because of that. I think if they did add more, they would have to be careful on how much more they added.
Just a little bit.
Not that would even make it bad, just that it would fully put it into that's a sour beer. Is that what you're wanting right now? Because this can kind of go half-half.
You know what I could do? I could put this in a glass with like a salt rim.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
probably be super, super great with that. Because then you could just take the salt as you want it.
Put a lei on the straw or an umbrella.
Oh, an umbrella.
Well, yeah, I know this beer definitely sells across the country. So if you guys find this near you, you should absolutely find it. Oh, by the way, I did not mention that it was 4.5% by volume. So not super strong either.
Not too bad.
You can really enjoy this one. You can have a few and you'll be totally fine.
Knock them back.
All right.
Just like you're going to knock back these ads and then come right back to us.
Yeah, that's the fucking plan.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. We'll be right back. And we are back after a wonderful song from Jade that may or may not ever see the light of day, but maybe keep listening and you'll find out.
We'll see if I force you to delete that or not.
All right. Well, Richard and crew enter the sparsely furnished, small, windowless room and immediately take up a formation that would be the perfect movie poster. Right? Richard, dead center. Kaylin just a half a step behind him to the side. Ulick and Egan to the sides of them. And then the Mord Sith screening outside of that. Fucking scary. Drefan, though, calmly but slowly stands up and turns around. And his eyes meet Richard's. I also picture this moment for his arms to be out just a little bit because there's a lot of people like, hey, I'm not doing any fuckery. But it doesn't sound like he was doing that at all.
I didn't turn around with a gun.
Right. Like, hey, we're cool. There's a lot of you suddenly. I noticed you didn't knock there, but okay.
I do notice it's just slightly interesting, not maybe hugely worth noting, but Nadine got a real nice room because it was like randomly assigned by guard number 4.
Oh,
it was
right.
like, okay, this might be a dignitary. She gets a fancy-ass room. The healer, who is apparently the head healer of some fucking place in Dahara, didn't rate that high, or Richard specifically made sure he got a shitty-ass room.
I think it might have been that, or it might have just been the fact that it's the furthest one away. Like, I don't care what it is. A grand room with, a beautiful place or just a tiny little shithole. It's got to be the furthest away from this place in the palace.
It's just interesting. Luck of the draw. Drefan has come and he's done something very great for them immediately. And he's in a shitty-ass room. Nadine came. She stirred up a lot of shit. She maybe helped a little.
A little.
But she's in like a grand, really nice fucking room, and Drefan gets this little shithole. That's
like,
all.
Fool me once, fool me twice. So
Yeah.
Drefan is number 3, and Richard's like, fuck no.
No. Might as well leave him in the pit.
Well, the tension in the room is palpable. And then Drefan immediately drops to his knees, forehead to floor, by the way. All the way. And gives the devotion. And he does it so good that even the Mord Sith were like, wait, should I be doing that too right now?
Is this like a whole
What?
thing?
Are we doing? Yeah,
Are we
he's
doing
into it, man.
Now, okay, so apart from what's happening here, because obviously Drefan is here, he's showing that he's loyal to Richard, he's doing his little thing. I just want to have like a personal, emotional moment with you.
Sidebar?
Quick. Yeah.
Okay.
So you recently, like, we both grew up with a brother or two.
Uh-huh.
So that's, like, normal. You have your normal brother. Just like Richard did. He had Michael that he grew up with, and he believed that was his only brother. And then he came to find out that he had another brother. And it's kind of surprising. And, oh, hey, he's actually super close. I'm gonna go just meet him. Now, circumstances are a tad bit different. You weren't exactly, like, interrogating your brother when you met him or suspicious that he was trying to, like, hurt you or your family.
I did not suspect that he wanted to kill me. I didn't get that vibe, no.
Yeah. But there's a lot of emotions here, and I feel like Richard, we see a little bit of it, I think, in this chapter, but he doesn't show the emotion you would expect from somebody because he's so wrapped up in all the other bullshit that's going on right now that he's so, worried.
Yeah.
That he's not letting the emotions really come in.
No, he's definitely taking care of business first. Wall. Oh yeah. Wall. I mean, yeah, being in something like this situation where I got to meet 3 brothers that I didn't know existed before, and 2 sisters actually. I got a whole bunch of siblings that I had just met within the last few years, and it was pretty insane. I met one of them at a bar in the town that he lives in. He was just like, "Hey, I drink beer, you drink beer. Let's just make this as casual as possible because that's all we can either handle right now, and let's just sit down and talk." And that went fine. I met another brother with his aunt at a park in the town that they live, and we all just hung out and walked together. And then my birth mom came up with the rest of my siblings, and I met them, and it was all it's kind of, there is a lot of emotions.
But that moment when you first, like, locked eyes with each of your brothers, was there like a feeling? A weird feeling?
Yeah. It's hard to talk about.
I know.
Being an adopted person, and I don't know, maybe somebody that's listening to this is adopted too. There's a lot of displacement, I guess. You never quite feel like you're exactly where you belong, and it's very awkward and sometimes can be very painful and lonely. And so then when you meet somebody that's your family, like a place where you do belong, essentially, even though you've never been with those people or been to that place, it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay light about it. But then at the same time, it can be jarring because you're meeting somebody that is all that emotionally significant to you, and yet it's a stranger.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot. It's weird. I could never have gone Richard out the gate.
Yeah.
Like he did. There's no way.
Yeah.
I was too vulnerable and too emotionally I was just hanging on. I was not in control necessarily. It wasn't bad at all. I just,
I think, you could see the similarities right off the bat, and it's weird and wild.
I look like all of my brothers.
And, like, some of the same mannerisms, but I think it also, strengthened what you knew about your own family, too. You were like, okay, I see that this is a bond that's different than that one.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different layers, like an onion.
Are you trying to get me to cry right now?
No, I'm sorry. We can go.
It's okay.
We can keep moving.
It's okay.
They met, their eyes met for the first time.
This is a very real thing.
And I thought that we should touch on that because you had a very similar moment where you were,
excuse me,
face to face and then handshake for the first time with somebody that shares blood. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's a wild thing.
I can honestly say there was a bunch of moments where we both stopped talking for a solid 30 seconds. And we were just both thinking about what to say. And we each went, fuck, you're my brother. Because we were still just wrapped up in it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So Richard, I think, skips over some of those intense emotions
because there's stuff
because
going
there's
on.
Other stuff going on. There's a large wall there, but I think that there's definitely other stuff bubbling under the surface with that.
I like how it says that, nobody but those two knew what was going through their brain.
Yeah, because it's facts.
Yeah. And it's weird being on one side of it because I kind of had a good idea of what was going on through my head when all that went down. But yeah, so that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been by your side since before you even started thinking about wanting to look. So I feel like I know you better than anybody, but I still didn't know what was going through your head or how you feel.
You were there at first contact. Like first contact.
I was.
When I got a message from my birth mom.
When you sent a message to her first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a fucking day, wasn't it? Okay, well, we can move on.
Get to the punchline now, because there's a punchline. See? So we brought up the heavy stuff, and now you get to...
That's right. Now we get to make it light.
Levity.
All right. So Drefan is dressed in a ruffled shirt, open to the chest.
Pirate shirt.
High boots, and tight dark trousers that showed his dick so much... that it makes Kaylin blush.
She's like, ooh, wow.
What the fuck? It's David Bowie in Labyrinth. I am 100% going to post this picture on our Facebook page. So I don't know if it's going to break some term of service or whatever, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It's so much.
I think down to the blonde hair even, it goes to Drefan, and he wears the boots. It's the whole thing.
For those of you who don't know, there was a movie that came out in the 80s sometime. I'm sorry I can't give you an exact date, but David Bowie plays Jareth, the Goblin King.
I can't believe that. So if somebody doesn't know this movie, I will be... stunned.
Yeah, this was a staple of childhood, but this one part of it always bugged me. Fucking David Bowie's pants in that movie are so tight.
He's the Goblin King.
You can see his fucking dick through the pants. Like, that tight.
The babe with power.
And I've always, it wasn't really a big deal. Growing up, we were like, yeah, go ahead, watch that movie or whatever. But now, as an adult, I was just like, damn, you could, see his dick. Pretty sure that was a kid's movie.
I like that that's the part that bothers you and not the fact that he was, trying to hook up with a young woman through, she's, 12, and he's, all over her that whole movie.
That's a spoken problem. That's an issue that needs to be resolved throughout the course of the movie.
Worse.
Yeah, obviously he's a bad guy, but then you add the pants, and it's like, dude, do you have to have your dick out, though? Does it have to be?
Yeah. It does. I have to entice the girl with my glass balls and my dick.
Well, he's like David Bowie from Labyrinth, except he's Richard's size, and he's got Dark and Raw's face.
But still blonde hair and blue eyes, I think.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
All of that's right. He's got a bunch of pouches, and he's, of course, still rocking the flaxen cloak.
I gotta let you know, I opened up the notes. I just to look in there earlier today, and I was like, Nate, why the fuck is David Bowie in our notes?
Featured in a giant picture on top of the notes?
Why am I looking at that right now? Because it was jarring. Our notes look a certain way in our little notes app, and so when I opened it up and that was staring at me, I was like,
yeah.
Why?
If our kids read these books, I'm definitely going to tell the kids that is Drefan Rawl.
Well, now it's in my head.
That's an artist rendering. So every time you guys read about Drefan Rawl, just think about David Bowie, and you'll be like, I'd say a good 80% of the way there.
I feel like that might make it better later, though.
Yeah, it might actually.
Or worse? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Hey, we'll get to it.
We'll play Bowie in the background while...
Oh, God. Dance, magic, dance.
Yeah.
So Richard asks him what all the candles are for in his room, and he's like, I was just doing a little praying to the good spirits in case I happen to be joining them today. Well, that kind of takes the piss out of you, doesn't it? Richard takes a breath and excuses Ulick, Egan, and Reyna with the code, me first, which means if Richard doesn't exit first, Drefan dies.
It seems... I don't know. That almost seems awkward to me that everybody's in the room and then he says the statement and Richard's like, okay, you guys leave now. Oh. Okay.
Or Drefan not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you first, bro. That's fine. This, your house and whatever.
Yeah. I was, all right.
I get it. You first. Okay.
Yeah.
He likes to be first in line. He's the special person today.
And I guess apparently he doesn't want... I don't know. I just didn't know why he sent the three of them out instead of leaving them in the room, unless it was just like private talk. And you three don't get to hear his talks. I don't think it's said, but I think because of what he was talking about with Kaylin, about whether or not he'll know that Drefan has magic or not. Sorry, I said that weird. Whether or not Drefan has magic, Richard will know that. So I think he goes in there with everybody. He's like, okay, maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to say yet. But I think maybe the threat isn't as big as he maybe thought it was. Or maybe... Okay. Maybe once he said that, Richard took that to be a possible threat and decided to decrease the number of people in the room on the chance keeping him that safe. Something bad might happen. Though the logical thing to me would probably be to kick Kaylin and Kara out of the room, right? And leave if the other ones in there. One whatever. For sure that he wants to be safe. Yeah, but whatever. Richard has his ways. I guess. So when he asks Drefan what he means exactly, he folds his hands into the opposite sleeves and says, well, there's a bit of a story behind that. And Richard's like, take your fucking hands out of your sleeves and then tell me. Yeah. How about that? Yeah, because honestly, that combined with what he said before does sound like a threat. Like, he's like, I'm praying to the good spirits in case I join them. And then he folds his arms all creepy like he has a knife up there or a fucking wand or something crazy. And yeah, he's who the fuck knows what? There's a story behind that. Maybe it's another pair of those terrible, terrible pants. Yeah. Or maybe he's going to be like some Marlin motherfucker and he's going to be like, the story behind that is that I'm actually Dragay. He's going to whip out a fucking knife. It's going to be weird. That would be awful. Yeah. Well, Drefan is definitely packing heat. He does have a knife. He's got a long, thin-bladed knife, a heavier knife in his boot, and behind his back, he's got a nasty-looking curved blade, all of which he flips in the air, and then, behind his back, throws them into a fucking wall. Okay, first, if you're there with the Lord Rawl, he has dismissed some guards, so I don't know. But, like, no fucking fast movements with sharp things. Right. Hello, do you want to die? And second, cool. You can throw a knife. Hey, that's my fucking wall, asshole. What are you doing? Also, come on. I thought you were a healer. That's a lot of knives for a healer. I'm the healer of people. I'm a destroyer of walls. And you've been in a room for a while. Like, I feel like if you're planning on staying here, you come into the room, maybe you traveled with the knives, right? Maybe you needed them for protection. Maybe you sometimes use them in the course of your healing somehow by, we saw him poke Kara with the knife, whatever. But now you're in the room. Like, I would assume if you're not using them to protect yourself from somebody in this palace fucking thing, you would put the knives away, right? Before Lord Rawl comes to see you? Like, put them in a drawer? Seemed to me that if you knew you were going to be seen by the Lord Rawl, you were probably going to have your weapons checked before you see him in the first place. I honestly don't think this is Drefan's fault. I think what he's doing is definitely dumb. I don't think you should be throwing blades around when somebody of that importance is around, just because if
if he had more guards with him, they could fuck you up for, like, don't do that. Don't wave a gun around the president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll probably remove that from you before you get anywhere near him. Why they didn't do that to Drefan, I don't know. That seems a little bit fucked up. But then that he does this in front of Richard is dumb as well.
Yeah, I guess I was just saying, the dude's sitting here, he's, apparently coming to the Lord Rawl, he's not trying to cause an issue. I don't know. If I came to a room and I was just chilling for a sec, I wouldn't be hanging out with my knives on me. I'd take them off, I'd take my boots off, put my pajama pants on, and fucking chill. And if you want to,
PJ pants in a bowl coming up.
Yeah.
Drefan, you've had a long day, buddy. You should just relax.
And we'll go from there.
That is so you. Or Richard, totally unamused, is like, anything else? And Drefan's like, just my hands and my knowledge. Want to search me, motherfucker? Remember the pants? Richard's like, nah, dude, I'm good.
But you did miss a weapon there, didn't ya? Yeah, we all see it.
We all know it's there.
All know.
We're not going to talk about it. Oh, no. No, we're just going to pretend like it's not there, but
you're carrying a big old club down there, aren't you?
Holy fuck. Richard, that's why Richard's just like, mine's bigger, whatever. Richard asks him about his background, and Drefan explains that he's one of the bastard sons of Darken Rawl, as opposed to being, a gifted heir. And Richard makes it clear that he doesn't see being the gifted heir as a good thing. Darken Rawl raped his mom. Fuck that guy. Being special from anything from him is not good.
Yeah. I was not looking forward to being like the Lord Rawl my whole life. That's not how this played out.
I hope my life gets destroyed so I can become a king. Yay!
Which, to be fair, I feel like everybody should know at this point that he wasn't found as a baby, as the Lord or the gifted heir.
Oh, right.
So Drefan shouldn't just assume that being the gifted heir was a good thing for Richard, because obviously he wasn't, like, treated as a prince, or everybody in Dahara would have known who the fuck he was.
Yeah, he wasn't there now, for example.
Yeah.
Well, Drefan explains that his mom had a bit of a different situation. She used being called to Darken's bed to raise her status, because having the gifted heir meant that she'd be fucking taken care of. But it didn't work, and she had Drefan. Richard says, don't worry, man. We're all the same in the spirit's eyes. But, okay, if I can just back up just a tiny little bit to everything I was talking about, the adoption stuff before, I get Drefan. It sucks, but, like, I get where he's coming from. It's like the puzzle piece that doesn't fit. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, it could have been all this way. It could have worked out fine. It could have been normal or whatever, but then... there's me and I'm a problem, so ...
Yeah.
Not saying that's good or correct or healthy way to think about it, because it's not, but I get it.
Yes. I think it's interesting because Richard's mom was raped, and Drefan's mom, they make it seem like she wasn't raped, like she chose it. I mean, power dynamics make me question that.
Yeah, that could be argued either way, I feel like.
But she wanted Drefan before he was born. And then he was born not gifted. So...
She wanted to have the gifted heir, but then he wasn't that.
Yes, so that makes it sadder.
Right. Well, Richard takes just a second to appraise Drefan here. And so far, it seems like he's telling the truth. And he asks, so what happened then? Drefan says he was taken to a wizard to see if he had the gift. Right? Gotta check. He did not. So instead of just being an ungifted, worthless bastard to an evil emperor, now he's a liability to his mom, too.
Yeah, because Darken doesn't like those babies.
No, he doesn't. She ends up leaving him with a remote community of healers to be raised anonymously and out of reach of Darken Rawl. Then, she poisoned herself with Enbane, which she got from the healers, at the village. The people who are going to now be raising her kid. It's very painful, but apparently it's quick. So, just have a baby, you bring the baby to strangers, and then you die. Which, look, it's the only way that she was going to be able to escape Dark and Rawl, and this is argued here in just a little bit. But, fuck, it's tough, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, I get that she was, like, going to be living out her days, like, stressful or whatever, but at that point, why don't you just be like, baby died. I chucked that baby down a well.
Don't know where the baby was.
Darken, I killed the shit out of that baby.
You could totally say that.
Yeah.
Yes, I got rid of the baby. It wasn't gifted. My bad. I can still do that thing you like. Do you want to try again?
But knowing Darken, he'd probably still kill you.
Yeah, he'd probably still kill you.
Because you didn't. So. Anyways.
And I mean, in this situation, I think this is what some of this boils down to. In this situation, it is absolutely inescapable that her situation is inescapable. There's no way she's going to be getting away from Dark and Rawl. You know, I think that's what Terry is trying to say here, that her days are for sure numbered. So this was the only way out for her. And I get that. But
you probably could have had a couple good years in
the
woods, you know?
Yeah. To me, I feel like you have to give 100. And if you don't do that, then you're not really worthy of the child, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you at least, it's complicated, folks. You have to try. You have to do what's absolutely best. And I guess ultimately Drefan got what was best for him.
I guess, yeah.
But I also feel like if they were in hiding, she could have waited to do the whole, suicide thing. If she was going to do that one way or another, and they might not have come for a couple of years, I suggest, hey, maybe stick around for that couple of years.
Or leave the kid and go try and make something good of yourself for the next couple of years until you die. Suicide is
I think that's what rubs me the wrong way. It's the suicide part.
Yeah.
That adds a whole extra layer to this conversation.
But again, no therapist, so
nope.
That's the big issue here, you know? Although, okay, the next note here talks about like assisted suicide in a way, which was a little like it starts going into a different place.
Right. So Richard doesn't think that that's a very healer-like thing to do, right? Helping somebody commit suicide. But Drefan argues that if somebody were going to die in an agonizing way with no hope of living, then it's just best to help them do that in a comfortable way, isn't it? But Richard points out that that's not the same situation as Drefan's mom. She wasn't actively dying. But Drefan's like, I'm sorry, have you met Dark and Rawl? The super great at torturing people in excruciating ways, almost assuring their death, Dark and Rawl? She was most certainly gonna die a painful death. And if she had stayed with the healers, Dark and Rawl would have slaughtered them all. Okay, I stand corrected. What's funny is I took these notes and I forgot that was in there. But yeah. Richard backs off a bit and says, look, I'm sorry. It was a tough situation. She handled it how she handled it, and that's that. And that's ultimately the end of it.
It's a very interesting little take on that, because I guess I didn't expect there to be a diatribe on the ethics of assisted suicide, especially
Surprise!
Especially not in the face of a most likely inevitable torture scene in the future. Like, it's one thing for assisted suicide in the fact, like, of somebody who's dying of cancer or something like that. They're not going to get better. It's really painful. But then you start talking about, well, they are going to die eventually at some point, painfully. Maybe? Assuredly? I don't know. That's where the line gets a little like, oh, okay. I was not expecting...
Sylvia Plath says the word, we're all dying, so that line could be moved. But I understand what you're saying.
But I guess that goes with objectivists, their take on assisted suicide, I'm
choice.
guessing.
You should have the right to do that. It's not good. And I doubt you would meet any objectivist who would tell you to actively do that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's not up to anybody else.
Yeah.
That's a you kind of choice. I don't think, like I said, nobody's going to tell you, yeah, go ahead and do that, because no, fuck that. Stick around, fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's but yeah, ultimately they can't tell you yes or no, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You making that choice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's some situations where you're like, oh, everyone's just going to stand by and watch all my organs shut down otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a comfort thing, you know. That's what it comes down to for me. It's not comfortable, obviously, to die, and it's not comfortable to talk about this. But I also feel like if all that is ahead of you is agony, quality of life, if it's just gonna be bad from there on out, I don't see morally what's wrong with it. I get the arguments. You should never take life, especially when it's savable. But yeah, no, I kind of agree with Drefan at this point.
Yeah.
Like, if it's that bad, not a straw man argument, but if it's really that bad,
I feel like
just let's make them comfortable.
This is probably a good topic to expand upon.
I think absolutely.
On our after show.
Do we just spend 10 minutes on this? Oops, it goes to Patreon.
Yes, we will be talking more about that in the after show, I think. So that way we can keep this chapter going, because I feel I have a lot of other things to say about that.
All right, so Drefan goes on to say that Richard wouldn't have been killed because he was the gifted heir. And Richard's like, no, he waited till I was older to try and kill me.
Okay.
Jeez, what a swell guy. Just go on, live your life. Oh, I'll get you someday. Yeah, don't you worry about it. All right, we'll see you later. Richard's like, I mean, he didn't really know that I was his kid when he tried to kill me, but yeah, we're not going to describe that any further to you. So anyways, back to my first question. Why are you praying in case you die?
It was a weird way for Richard to answer that, because, had Darkin known that he was his son, he would have taken him as an infant and fucking brainwashed the shit out of him and made him a crazy little fucker just like him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, most likely.
Yeah, he wouldn't have tried to kill you if he found you and you were a baby. So this is a moot conversation.
Well, Drefan's like, look, I always knew who I was, and that Darkin could try and kill me literally at any time. It was constant terror. Richard tells him that Darkin's dead.
Dead. Zed's dead, baby.
That's right. And
no,
he's like,
not. Zed's not dead.
Zed is not dead. Damn it. Though I would like to see him ride a chopper, because I feel like he deserves it, and that would be wonderful.
Yes, I agree.
Anyways. Drefan says, yeah, I know he's dead. And when I felt the bond break, I decided I was going to end my fear of, I was going to end the constant death sentence hanging over my head. He says, look, I know I can't leave this room. I know the reputation of these guards, but what I don't know is if the new Lord Rawl wants me dead or not. So I came here to offer my services and fucking find out.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting it all on the line. I do want to say I forgot earlier to just slide in there. He had mentioned that he talked to the people at the, healers sanctuary or whatever the fuck they were called, the other healers, about what they would do if they were found out.
Probably put on bigger pants.
No, they were like, we would just throw you we would literally be like, we didn't know. His mom dropped him off here. Even though we do, we would totally throw you under the bus and be like,
100%.
Not our deal. Take him.
So
Bye.
It wasn't even like a good real sense of protection that he had, because you'd be like, no, that's definitely the kid. Yeah, go ahead, take him.
Yeah, or family.
Bye.
Yeah, they didn't really give a shit about him, because they were not going to protect his identity or say, yeah, we knew, or stand behind him. They were just like, yeah, totally torture that fucking kid. Bye.
They were just going to keep themselves safe, and that's that.
Which I guess, I mean, you can't really blame them, but also, fuck those people, right?
I think then don't accept the kid.
Right?
You know what I mean? If you're like, no, we're totally phoning this one in, then don't do it.
Yeah.
You can be like, look, you need a place to sleep tonight. You got to get your shit together. You got to head out tomorrow morning and figure this out.
Yeah.
But then, no, we're good.
otherwise,
we're not really going to look out for him.
That's going to fuck a kid up.
Yeah.
I bet you. I mean, Drefan seems fine. He seems great. But I would just assume a kid would get fucked up.
Well, eyes watering, Drefan turns to face Richard and says, there you have it. Either forgive me or kill me. I don't know that I really care which anymore, but I beg you to end it one way or another.
Oh, such a sad boy.
Richard takes another breath and takes a moment to gather his thoughts. Dramatic pause. At last, he holds his hand out to Drefan and says, I'm Richard. Welcome to the new Dahara. A Dahara that fights for freedom from terror. We fight so that you do not. And Drefan whispers, thank you, Richard.
Aw.
It is cute. Also, I want to add that that's a line is damn close to a Slipknot song, Pulse of the Maggots, and it's awesome. Fuck yeah.
That's not as cute.
It's not as cute. But it's meaningful for me.
I did think it was just interesting. I think this goes back to what I was talking about earlier with wanting to bring it back to personal stuff with you, because even at the end there, Richard's, it's like it could have been any healer. It's not even like it's his brother. He's like, welcome, Drefan, to the new Dahara. He doesn't say, welcome, brother. Hey, I'm Richard. Hey, bro. There was no like, hey, we're family. This is a cool fucking thing that we just met. It was literally like, welcome to the new Dahara. I'm Lord Rawl, and things are great now. We'll see to it that your meal is served in the morning.
Breakfast is at 8. We'll see you then.
Yeah. Like, nothing, no emotional ties to
I get it. I mean, I get it. You kind of want to run away a little bit. Hi, you're there. I'm having a lot of feels. It'd be much easier to just turn around and walk away, but
hey,
here we are. So
you're cool. I'm cool. Nice to know you exist. See you later.
I look very calm right now, don't I? I'm super panicking inside.
See how put together I am?
Yeah. But yeah, that is the fucking chapter. Richard gets to meet his fucking half-brother. Kaylin doesn't say a word during it, which is kind of weird, but I get it. She was playing backup.
Maybe the also lack of like family bonding that's happening is that little bit of like, I want you to do it first, kind of like in flirting, or like, I don't want to show that I care about the fact that we're family members.
Oh, yeah.
You show that you
freaking
care.
Out.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't think this is a big deal, then I don't think this is a big
first.
deal. Yeah.
Maybe a little. No. All right. Well, before we head out for today, we've got a Patreon message.
Patreon!
Now, I know this episode... I know this episode's running just a little bit long, but this message is nice and short. So it works perfect. Like I said, yeah, just a short one today, sent in by one of our patrons, Brian Taft. He says, you have been helpful by listening to the podcast. They're very uplifting at times. I miss you guys when you take breaks, and I appreciate your hard work and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
We love getting these messages, you guys. We are having a fucking blast opening them and reading them together. And we love it that you guys have positive things to say and that you have positive shit going on in your own lives too. It lifts the whole ship.
Positivity waves.
I thought for a second you were just going to say positivity and stop.
That's what I thought about doing.
I was like, yeah, that's the button.
Yeah, well.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this. If you liked what you heard or wanted to let us know what you thought of it, you can send an email to podcastatt@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and subscribe and leave a rating if you enjoyed it, especially, a good rating is better than a poor one, I would say.
Yeah.
But let us know either way, and we will address the issue. Mm-hmm. Or just say thank you. If you wanted to find us on any of our social medias, you can do that by finding...
Podcast ATT.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Podcast ATT. Or you can find us at podcastatt.com.
I was drinking, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's very good. You can also, if you wanted to help support the show, go to patreon.com/podcast ATT and make a pledge of any amount there. We don't care, but we'd love it if you'd help.
Yeah.
We would.
Yeah.
If you think this has given you some value, then give us some value. Right?
I don't know what
fair.
happened to
That
your
way
voice.
it's fair.
It went so funny.
I don't know. I was weird. It's fine. But thank you guys so much again for listening. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.
What?
Yeah.
What are you singing about?
Because they took his balls. You know? Yeah. I think it was a great song. You just didn't appreciate it.
No, I wanted to appreciate it more. That's why I hit record. But then suddenly you stopped for no reason. So.
Well, I don't feel like other people might appreciate it as much as they should.
I think very many people would appreciate it. I think everybody would appreciate it.
The song,
wouldn't you guys agree? Everyone will appreciate it.
The song was about my cat.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Tell me about the song.
Okay. My name is Puck, and I like to fuck, but I can't, 'cause they took my balls. So now I have to ignore the calls of all the females.
And that's I think about where.
And that's my song.
That was wonderful. Thank you. That was fantastic.
That's what happens in the brief time that you guys are listening to the ads.
I'm vigilant for you guys.
That's what Nate is listening to while you guys are listening to ads.